Well, welcome to October's Q&A. Now, I haven't got a lot of questions this month, mainly because last month I did a everyday vlog, and in that everyday vlog I did questions and answers. So just put up with the questions I got this month. But hopefully next month I have a lot more new questions to answer. I'll just give you a little bit of information about myself, especially if it's your first time visiting my Q&A. My name's Sean. Now, I've been out in Spain for nearly 4 years now. Now, I'm only giving you my opinion and what I've seen since I've been here in Spain. I'm not qualified to give you, like, if you're buying a property, things like that. If you want to buy a property and you need legal advice, don't ask me questions, I can't answer that. But what I will always suggest, you've got to use a lawyer or a decent attorney, especially out here in Spain, because you can lose a lot of money if you don't go through the right channel. So always remember that. Seek legal advice. Don't go onto these forums that you can find on Facebook and things like that. They're just giving their opinion as well, but you just need to check out the sites. Now, one of the sites that I use quite a lot now is the Citizens Advice Bureau Spain. Very good site. And another good site that you've got to check out, guys, is your own government sites. They will give you information about living abroad and things like that as well, because you don't want to start listening to rumours. You get a lot of insurance companies especially putting a sort of a downer on things, I suppose, and saying this might happen, this, you know, when it probably won't. So just bear that in mind as well when you aren't giving me a question. Now, I'll just also give you where I am as well. So I live in the Costa Calera. It's in the southeast of Spain, the Murcia region. Now, I live on a huge urbanisation called Camposol, not very far from Mazarrón. I'm down at the port at the moment. There's a big race on today. It's the jet skis and the fly skis. Amazing thing. I'll be down there covering that. Watch the vid. Just a reminder, left hand corner, there'll be a list of videos there to do with this subject. Now, below the video as well will be all the information you need to know about the video, be where I am, the stuff that I use. I'm all about the equipment, the music. Also, don't forget to ring the bell on YouTube. That reminds you when I'm bringing out my next video. Now, I'll bring out videos twice a week. I'm trying to keep it to Tuesdays and Thursdays. But yeah, ring the bell. And you can carry on now. So my first one's from Glenn Roberts. Now, not understanding where, I think Glenn's probably told me, I've forgotten. Obviously Glenn lives out the EU, and unfortunately I can't really answer this question, Glenn, because one, I'm not outside the EU at the moment. Possibly after the end of October I could be, but he's asking about some information really, and all I could do was go on the internet and search for it. But I will read out the question now. Now, Glenn's thinking about retirement to Spain soon. How much pension is needed each month to prove self-sufficient to apply for residency from outside the EU? What you're getting at, Glenn, is obviously you want to apply for residency, and to apply for residency you've got to show some proof of income, and obviously if you live out the EU, maybe you've got to prove a little bit more. I will buy an apartment outright, so he's got, obviously going to have no, it won't be renting, so it won't be paying out any payments that way. In the Costa Blanca area, I've seen that at least 2,130 a month pension paid into a Spanish bank account each month for 5 years is needed for permanent residency from a non-EU country. Now, I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know if that's true or not. What I did do, I did a bit of search. What I could find on the internet was still confusing, but the annual retirement income, which they think that you would be able to live off, was $20,000 to $25,000 a year, which I think is a lot of money to live off. Now, I don't know if that comes under this residency thing, I don't know, but I think $20,000 a year is a lot. At the moment, I mean, and this is obviously dollars, at the moment me and the wife are living off about 12,000 a year, pounds we're talking about. and we will increase that with our state pensions as well, so I'll probably double that. That'll probably bring us up to probably about 20,000. Now I would say at the moment we're not living like lords, but we're going along. But I'll be honest, we are sort of struggling at times, because obviously you've got bills to pay. You know, like the car might go wrong, things like that. And we got a swimming pool, and it's all about your lifestyle as well. So that could be about right, 20,000. But to what I'm trying to get at is for the residency, I don't know. So I'm hoping somebody out there who's from outside the EU, especially from America, because we do get a lot of people interest from America that are thinking about moving to Spain. Hopefully one of you guys can put a comment below if you've done that already, you've moved to Spain, you applied for your residency, and it give Glenn a good idea of what it is. But sorry Glenn, I can't really answer that question. But hopefully the $20,000 to $25,000 a year is something to think about. Number 2, which is Jody April May, I think I got that right. Until what age are you allowed to drive in Spain? And do you have to have a retest? Okay, good question that, Jody. Yet again, something else I had to look up on. Because we obviously applied for our Spanish driving license, which we got, and it looks like, which is correct. I went on to the Citizens Advice Spain, and it said on there, I know straight away, to drive in Spain you've got to be over 18, and when you reach the age of 65, depending on your category, now I didn't go for all the categories, but I'm only presuming that just to drive a normal car, it would be 5 years or 3 years. Now after the 3 years, maybe you've got some sort of medical condition, I don't know, but I know it's here between 5 and 3 years. So it'd be on your license when you reach 65. Mine expires at 65. I'll then have to go and have a medical. Now the last time I paid the medical for the Spanish license, it cost me €40. It's just a medical, obviously, to check your eyesight. There's usually an awareness test in there as well, where you have to keep the dots. It's just what I'm trying to look at is make sure you're fully sane to drive. So it sounds like anywhere else, you just carry on driving until your faculties pack up, or you peg it, virtually. So every 5 years or 3 years, you take your medical, and then it's renewed for the next 5 or 3 years. So you could carry on driving until well past 100. I'm just checking there's anybody coming down the road there. Okay, thank you very much for that one, Jody. Chris Patterson, we are coming over at 1st November. Is it cold, and would we need coats? Yes. I will state that straight away. I mean, at the moment we're into October. What I'm doing is that we're into October already, the first week of October. During the daytime it's really hot. I'm going out in the morning about 7:30 with Bonnie. I'm putting on just a fleece now. It's a little bit of a chill. And in the evenings it's starting to get cooler now, so you definitely going to need coats. But probably during the daytime, I mean, I expect by November I probably would have changed from my shorts into my trousers and got my socks and shoes back on. But at the moment I'm still in the t-shirt, shorts and sandals. But I think by November, yeah. And also the other thing is I will be having the heating probably back on. Something else you've got to think about as well, guys, especially if you're renting, making sure that the property's got sufficient heating, because it does get cold in the evening, mainly in the evening. Once the sun goes down, it does get chilly. So yes, you will need your coats. Chris. Right, last question by Glenn Roberts. How much income can you pay before paying tax? In the UK, it's £12,500 before you start paying tax. Now, I don't know if that's correct. I leave all my money matters, especially things like tax now, because it totally confuses me, to my wife. And when we first arrived in Spain, we was non-residents. And the only tax that we paid on that was for the property, the size of the property that we own, and that was like €65 each. But we used our solicitors at the time because we didn't know any better, and the solicitors charged fees on top of that of about 180. Anyway, it come to, the whole total come to nearly €500, which was, you know, amazing when you think it was only 65 each. So we found somebody else where we're living that can deal with that, and I think it would have come up to about 150 or 160. But when we become residents, this is what fascinated me. So we would be paying resident tax. I thought, one, either we would be paying more or we would be paying the same, and we paid nothing. Now, we went to see our accountant, because my wife works, went to see our accountant, and he said, if you got any savings, which we didn't, we don't own a property in the UK, we're not getting any extra income in, and I think because we're below the 12,000 mark, we didn't have to pay any tax. So that was confusing. Why we had to pay tax because we was a non-resident, and because we was a resident, we didn't have to pay that. So baffled with that one. Hopefully somebody else can come in on that and put a comment below, but we didn't pay no tax at all, which is pretty amazing. I know as from next year, my wife goes and she gets her state pension, so we'll be going over the 12,000 threshold, so we know we'll be paying tax then. So maybe if you ask me next year, Glenn, about the same time, I can give you another figure, because all these questions and answers that I do is what I've gone through myself personally. I don't want to start saying, well, I've looked online or I've got some questions off the forums, because I think it just gets confusing. But hopefully that sort of answers your question a little bit, Glenn. Can't answer it anymore. But anyway, as I always said, hope you enjoyed it this month, this Q&A. If you've got some questions, please add them below, and I will do the Q&A for November. Like I said right at the beginning, if you're dealing with money, guys, you've got to seek legal advice. Don't just go into a pub one night and somebody's saying, oh, I've got this villa going really cheap, I want to get it off my hands, my mum's died or whatever. Don't do it. Don't just take people's word for it. Get it all done legally. Unfortunately, here in Spain, there's a lot of new builds going on at the moment, and especially a lot of off plans going on at the moment. There's already whispers in the air about a recession might be hitting Europe next year anyway. I would be very wary of buying a property that hasn't even been built, and it's all right them promising you the earth, but I would still be very wary. Always seek proper legal advice, get everything done in writing, printed out before you sign anything, and especially departing with your money. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. As I always say, don't know what I'm bringing out next. I'll see you next month on the Q&A, and what an amazing day. I'm going to go off and see the jet ski race. So adios amigos.